Anomaly keeps getting stronger, especially right now that we got a really good support for anomaly units. And of course, nothing better than a new physical anomaly unit to pair along this new support unit. And yes, I'm talking about Alice, and if you click on this video, I am pretty sure you want to pull and build her no matter what people are saying about her. So, let's break down Alice's kit so you can understand what she's bringing to the game, how to play her, how much you need to invest, and of course, how to build her the right way so you can maximize your damage. Name's Muzzy, and welcome to my Alice guide. Okay, so first, let's begin talking about what Alice is and what she's going to provide for you. But before we begin, if you don't know what anomaly or disorder is, then I highly recommend checking out my anomaly guide that I'll be linking in the top right corner. Alice is a really good physical anomaly unit with a gameplay style that reminds a bit of Miyabi and Evelyn together. But without Miyabi levels of damage, of course. Despite the interesting multiplier on her skills, most of her damage comes from assaults, but just like Yanagi, she has the potential to trigger disorders by herself. That's because her charged basic attack can trigger a new instance of assault that completely ignores the physical build-up on the enemy. This also bypasses the anomaly cooldown, so as you can guess, you can do some interesting things with Alice, such as triggering 2 assaults at the same time. This makes Alice somewhat easy to play, but also has a high ceiling depending on how much you want to maximize your damage, since managing her resources for the stun window can make a difference on your damage potential. Diving a little bit on her kit, let's start by talking about this charged basic attack. Dealing damage to the enemy and triggering assaults or disorders help you fill Alice's resource, which is used to charge a level 3 charged basic attack. Only charge your attack if you have enough for a level 3 charge. Anything below is not worth it and you're essentially losing damage, since only level 3 charged attacks trigger the polarized assault, Alice's unique assault mechanic. Your ultimate also generates 2 charges for you, so it's a good way to refill your resource after spending it. Alice's special attack is quite interesting because, just like Evelyn, you can use it to dodge enemy attacks, and this gives basic attack skips and of course invulnerability as well. Her EX special has 2 different variations. If you press forward while using your EX special, you use a faster version that pierces the enemy, but if you hold back or have no input while pressing your EX special button, you use a stronger but slower version that jumps back before piercing the enemy. Overall, it's a really good tool to keep you alive on the field and also generate resources for you. Alice also has an enhanced basic attack 5. This one is available whenever Alice triggers an assault using build-up. This means that triggering polarized assaults or using another unit to trigger assault won't give you an enhanced basic attack 5. This enhanced attack deals extra damage, build-up, daze, everything, and the long animation means you can swap around other units to refresh buffs while Alice is invulnerable on the field. Basically, just keep fielding Alice and triggering assaults, and this enhanced attack will happen naturally for you. Outside of this, there's nothing really huge on Alice's kit that requires your attention, but to give you an overview of some other unique mechanics, Alice also has a bleed effect on enemies whenever they are under a physical anomaly. It deals damage based on the original anomaly damage, but it's nothing really huge, so just keep playing as you do and consider this just extra damage for you. You also get extra build-up whenever Alice triggers assault, but one interesting thing which kind of promotes some synergies is the fact that Alice provides additional base disorder damage for you. This means that, for example, Yanagi Polarity Disorder on Physical Anomaly can get extra damage from Alice's core effect. And her additional ability is quite important and only asks for a support or another anomaly unit. It's not even because of the extra resource generation for you, but because you can get extra value from Anomaly Mastery by converting it to Anomaly Proficiency, which means more damage for you. When upgrading your skills, focus on your core for the increased Anomaly buildup, then focus on her basic attacks for some increased damage during the fight. After this, get her special attack, ultimate, and leave both dodges and assists as your last priority. Now let's talk about building your Alice, and honestly, her build couldn't be more straightforward. Since she has no damage buffs on her kit, Alice uses the classic Fang and Metal 4-piece. Since polarized assaults are considered assaults, you can guess that it's really easy for you to keep this buff with 100% uptime. Just stick to this one, because the extra damage makes a huge difference on your final damage. For Priest Freedom Blues is simply not worth it. You're sacrificing damage, and Alice somewhat already ignores the anomaly build-up with her charged attack, so you have nothing to gain here. You could think about 4-piece Fatal Melody as well, since every single time that you cast one EX special, you get anomaly proficiency, but honestly, it's also not worth it. You're sacrificing a lot of damage just to get some extra anomaly proficiency, which you can get from another 2-piece set, for example. For the 2-piece set, we have plenty of different options, and the best option can change a little bit depending on the weapon, which I'm going to be explaining later. But in general, the best option will be Fatal Melody 2-piece. It provides Anomaly Mastery, which means more build-up, more consistent assaults, and also 18 Anomaly Proficiency thanks to Alice's additional ability. Other good options include the classic Freedom Blues or Chaos Jazz for 30 Anomaly Proficiency, or even Puffer Electro in case you're stacking penetration effects. Now, for your stats, Disc 4 is always Anomaly Proficiency and Disc 6 is always Anomaly Mastery. There's no reason to think too much here, since Alice heavily scales on Anomaly stats. Now, for Disc 5, things can change a little bit depending on your weapon choice and how much you're looking to min-max your stats for Deadly Assault or Shield Defense. In general, damage will always be the best option, but penetration is really close as well, since you can get damage from many different sources, which makes penetration shine here. If you really want to optimize your damage to the maximum potential, I highly recommend using some tools, such as my free calculator, which you can check in the description. And for substats, Anomaly Proficiency is always your #1 priority, since it heavily scales your anomaly damage and you cannot get a lot of Anomaly Proficiency from most buffs. Follow up with attack percentage, penetration, flat attack, and lastly, crit stats. For weapons, it might come as no surprise that Alice's signature will be the best option for her. The surprise here is that it's actually the best option on every single physical anomaly right now. Providing a flat anomaly mastery buff and also 40% damage at phase 1, this weapon is a massive damage increase for Alice compared to any other free-to-play weapon. The stats provided also let you swap damage for penetration and even Fatal Melody 2-piece for something like Perfect Electro or Freedom Blues. Of course, there are some other options for Alice, such as Jane's signature. The fact that you trigger a perfect dodge on her special attack means you can stack it easily during the fight. The problem is that you need to refresh the weapon on stun windows using a dash attack, which can be a little weird sometimes. Speaking of weird things, Fusion Compiler is also a good option, but you need to consistently use her special attack to keep stacks while building Anomaly. I personally dislike it quite a lot, but if you don't mind it, it has some interesting potential, especially in higher phases. Whipping Gemini still exists and is a really solid free-to-play option. The anomaly proficiency it provides is hard to match, but just like using a Jane, the lack of other stats hurts Alice's damage potential quite a lot, since your damage rely on getting assaults as fast as possible. Electro Glass also exists and is definitely an option that also provides damage. The thing is that it takes a total of 5 battle passes to reach the maximum potential, so not everyone will have one of these. Also, just a side note, I know the damage difference between her signature and other options looks quite scary, but you can definitely use Alice without her signature, with good teammates. We're talking about teammates later in the video, but Vivian also deals a lot of damage. But if you plan to make Alice as a hyper carry, as I'm going to explain later, since Alice will be the only DPS on your team, her signature will be really important. And finally, for those looking to improve your Alice potential even further, let's talk about her Mindscapes. Her first Mindscape can provide some extra polarized assaults for you because of the extra resource generation, but most importantly, it reduces the enemy defense, which means even other units can benefit from this Mindscape. Without penetration or miasma on enemies, this translates to around 12% DPS increase for your team. Mindscape 2 is a huge increase for Alice's damage potential, but the value it provides depends a little bit on your gameplay. Keep in mind that we're talking just about Alice's damage increase. This one is not going to provide team damage as Mindscape 1, unless we're talking about monophysical compositions. Mindscape 3 and 5 just exist as most anomaly units, and the DPS increase here is minimal, since most of the Alice damage comes from assaults. Mindscape 4 makes Alice ignore the enemy physical resistance, which is really good, but it's only 10% and we're talking about a total of 5 dupes, which is quite a lot, so honestly I don't think it's worth it. But this one doesn't feel as bad as Mindscape 6, which gives you a crit hit that scales with your anomaly proficiency, but requires other units to hit the enemies, so honestly, it's a really weird one. My personal recommendation for investing on Alice is to first get her signature weapon before diving into Mindscapes. The damage increase for her signature weapon is way higher than Mindscape 1. After this, if you still want to invest on Alice, only pull for Mindscapes if you're going for Mindscape 2. Mindscape 1 by itself, while interesting, needs more defense shred on your team or deadly assault and shield buffs to make it really good. Going further is definitely just for name card or waifu reasons, because personally I don't think Mindscape 4 or even 6 are worth it. Finally, let's talk about some teams and let's straight up address the rat in the room. Alice, Jane and Yuzuha can work thanks to the crit assaults Jane provides, and since Alice is able to trigger more assaults thanks to her polarized assault, she highly benefits from this. Ultimates also reset the anomaly cooldown, and Jane build-up on her ultimate is insanely high, so you can get a lot of assaults on the stun window with proper build-up management and rotations. However, let's be fair, Jane wants to stay on the field, Alice wants to stay on the field, so at the end, Alice is there just to trigger extra assaults for Jane, which could be easily replaced by Vivian for extra disorders, for example. But at least you can free up your Vivian or maybe your Alice to somewhere else. Not to mention, if Jane ends up getting some kind of rework and more synergies with Assault, then Alice Jane will surely be a thing. Moving on to some traditional options, Alice can be paired with any other anomaly units such as Bernice, Vivian, or even Yanagi, which can, for example, trigger Polarity Disorder, which means more stacks for Alice and good synergy with all the extra disorder buffs. Grace could work in case you don't have any of these units, but I wouldn't recommend using Piper since at the end she's just another physical anomaly with no buffs for Alice. You can also replace this with another utility unit and make a more hyper carry style Alice. Trigger is surprisingly good, despite the fact that you probably not activate her additional ability, but since Alice is a sustained DPS, she highly benefits from the stun multiplier and more stun windows. Chinyu works too, but keep in mind you need some really good stun rotations if you want to maximize your damage. Seth is a good free-to-play option, but good luck activating his additional ability and dealing with his slow animations. And for the final slot, we are looking for a good support unit. Yuzuha will be the best option here, but in case you don't own her, even Astra, Lucy, Rina, and Nicole are solid options. As for Yuzuha placement on your team, I had better performance using Yuzuha before Alice, since this way you can quick assist back into Alice as soon as she triggers Polarized Assault. For Bangboos, the best options here will be Robin in case you're running Vivian on your team, Lucky Boo if you want some extra physical build-up, or any utility Bangboo, such as Miss Esme, Snap, Nightboo, or Butler. And that's everything for my Alice guide. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments down below or join the Discord server since I'm way more active over there. You can also catch me live both on YouTube and Twitch and ask me anything over there. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a beautiful day and I'll see you next time.